Kind of close this out. Oh Lord, it's a little cold up in here. Ooh. I'm gonna see how many people are gonna join this live on here since haven't been on here in a while. It's a little cold outside. It's my very first time being on a YouTube live. I'm gonna see how many people are gonna be on here. Shit, it's so cold outside, and my ass just decided to not even bring a freaking jacket. And honestly, I don't know what the heck that I was thinking. It was so hot earlier. Oh Lord, I had to run to the car so quick. But I'm about to start driving, man. Hey y'all, what's good? Lord, I am like freezing my ass off, honestly. I'm about to start driving real quick. Hopefully my connection doesn't end up getting all bad since it's actually cold as heck outside. I don't know why people never even warn me too much about the weather being cold, but it is like cold as heck right here. What's up, Nick? See how many people are gonna be on here. Y'all make sure y'all share this live as much as possible because this is my very first time being on live. I am like cold right now. I did not bring a sweatshirt or nothing due to the weather. It was so hot earlier and it wasn't even cold like this. Hopefully my tire pressure doesn't end up going low because unfortunately my air pump doesn't even work anymore like it used to, so I'm gonna have to get a new air pump eventually. But y'all make sure y'all leave a like on this live, honestly, and share it out to as many people as possible so they can actually see it. I am like so cold right now. I don't know what really got into me being this cold, but right now I'm actually driving right now, about to talk with you guys. If I had to be honest about how many degrees it is, it's got to be at least about maybe 40, 30 some degrees outside. I don't know why I didn't notice too much about the weather being so cold out earlier. Like earlier it wasn't even that cold because of the sun, and now all of a sudden it's cold because it is like basically like not worth me having to stay here as much as I wanted to. Hey, what's up, y'all? But yeah, y'all leave a like on this live, y'all. This is pretty much gonna, do whatever I can. They got some people walking in front of me. I see in the middle of the road in that cold. I don't know what people would be doing around this time, walking in the cold like this, but Lord have mercy, it is like cold. I got the heater on. Hopefully this at least helps. Shoot, man, it's cold. But yeah, honestly, y'all, I've been getting people asking me questions so much before, like what made me decided, to become a car enthusiast and what made me decided to do car content on YouTube. I've been watching a lot of YouTubers lately before, like, Cars Across Texas and Sinclair Photos and the Stradman, all those guys, and some other YouTubers I remember I used to look at that was always, hold up a sec. I gotta really watch myself because I don't know what these people are doing driving so slow. But yeah, honestly, I've been watching a lot of YouTubers before that's been watching like the car stuff. Literally, I've been a part of doing the car stuff as well too since I've been wanting to like achieve whatever I was looking for, achieve what I wanted. I mean, it took about basically 3 years to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I never thought it would be so possible for me to reach, that many subscribers, honestly. Basically it's crazy because it's like, okay, look, since I've been doing this YouTube stuff for like 4 years now, it's like I started doing my YouTube back in 2021. Now my very first video I uploaded was on December 6th of 2021, where I actually went out to this car meet in Lafayette that was hosted by some Lake Charles boys, which was True Kings. Now a lot of y'all don't know who these guys was. They don't really host meets no more like they used to. So it's like, I don't know exactly what been going on with people not hosting meets like they used to and stuff. So it's like, okay, well, that's kind of suspicious, honestly, the way I look at things where the car stuff really ain't as much the same. But, you know, when I started going out to car meets and stuff, it's like I always told myself, being a YouTuber is the only thing I can only become of being a car enthusiast. Because a lot of people who do car stuff, it's like I remember so many people, like I always used to watch videos on YouTube, like the car meets that go in Texas, but mainly Texas always got like the fastest stuff out there. Texas got everything. Like Texas always got like cars and stuff that always be out and about, and it's like, yeah, when I start going out to Texas, it's like, yeah, like I always been telling myself, man, like I really want to go to Texas one day, someday for a car meet. It's kind of crazy because like I've never really been the type to go to a car meet in Texas as much, like ever since I was at least turning the age of at least 18 years old. The first car meet I've ever went to in Texas was Cypress Cars and Coffee. That was the like actual car event that I went to out there before I went to any other meets in Texas that I always thought of looking into. Now, when I was young at the time, when I was at least about 16, 17 years old, I had a 2015 Mercedes-Benz C300. So it's like, yeah, like I had a car like that basically when I was the age of 16 in high school. So I was like, dang, like how could I ever see myself being 16 years old with a 2015 Mercedes-Benz C300, because apparently that's the crazy stuff that I could never believe. And it's like, yeah, like when I first ended up with a car like that, I said to myself, like, a lot of high school kids ended up driving Nissans and, all them other regular cars that I've been seeing. I don't know why this person's sitting here at a green light. This don't make sense. This light right here don't even stay green for long. It normally stay green for 5 seconds and then it goes back red for like minutes and it stays red for like a couple minutes. Like that's crazy. But yeah, honestly, the way I feel, the way I look at some cars, man, it's like I've been a car enthusiast for 4 years. Like, it's kind of crazy because like people who never would thought that I would be a car enthusiast would literally look at me to say, man, like you came a long way. Let me see what this says. Somebody comment, I see. Look, it says, bro, people don't know how to act, and cops, But yeah, honestly, I've been hearing this stuff about Lafayette. Now, unfortunately, yeah, I did hear that you host a meeting like last Saturday, I think it was, like a couple Saturdays. And I remember that they had like this little GTM kit car that was there, and then that's when the cops had came and shut it down. That's crazy because the first time I came for a meet like that, they did have a cop that was there, but the cop who was there didn't even shut it down. And it's like, man, like, since when did they ever have like a car meet with people who get these, like, I don't know, it's like it'd be a lot of crazy activities with cops who steady be shutting meets down. And it's like, yeah, like I don't know what it be, because I mean the first time I ever went to your meet, Nick, like that one was a banger. Like that one hit like at least 600 some views on it, and I got like at least the amount of good decent likes and comments. But then it's like next thing you know, it's like now all of a sudden they got cops that been shutting the meets down, and it's like, man, I don't know what been going on. Like, okay, like honestly, it's crazy because like most cops who shut meets down, it's like I know sometimes they be having like the takeover hood rats who be going out like shutting stuff down, like basically drawing attention to everybody who actually see people who want to do burnouts and donuts in the parking lot. My thing about it though is the fact that back in the old days they used to throw meets like at this Albertsons in Lafayette. Apparently, reason why they don't throw them there no more is because they had a crash that happened, a wreck that happened last year, and it was crazy because it's a long story. I'm not gonna speak about it today, but that might be another time when I ever do come on live and start talking about this. But yeah, when I first went to your meeting, Nick, it's like I really liked it that, and it was a good location. Like they always used to have people sending it in the street. Honestly, a lot of good cars that always came out. But it's like it's just crazy because I figured cops would obviously shut that meet down basically in that spot. Honestly, because normally I be seeing so many things that I be hearing about how 9 times out of 10 cops will shut a meet down so fast, and it's like, man, I just don't understand like how people would get me shut down so quick. And it just doesn't make sense of how many people would actually get a meet shut down, all because people who want to go out and do burnouts and cause chaos at a park and chill meet and stuff, and it's like, man, like y'all gotta understand that y'all do realize they got cops around here in these areas now. So if y'all want to cut up and act crazy, just know, hey man, you best watch yourselves, man, because every now and then you'll come across something behind anybody who wanna like cause chaos at a park and chill meet, and everybody gets so mad about it. Like, y'all gotta chill. Like, y'all can't just keep going out there burning rubber and like doing stuff, because a lot of times a lot of these event people who host car meets, they would actually take corrective actions towards that. And it's like, look man, like y'all gotta keep a meet chill. Like, if y'all gonna go crazy, I mean, the only thing I can tell people is go crazy on the street. At least do something like on the road and not in the parking lot, because apparently, you know, whoever owns these buildings are private property, and they find out that they see like burnout marks all over their parking lot, it's gonna really get to a point where everybody's gonna have to understand that, listen, I mean, everybody gotta be responsible for whatever's going on, because people want to go out and do crazy stuff. But look, that's just like Coffee and Cars Houston. Like, I've been going to Coffee and Car Houston events in Houston, Texas for years. Apparently back in I forgot what month it was. It was November of 2024, I think. No, I'm gonna have to go back to my old videos, but yeah, a couple years ago, they used to always, like, they still be doing the meets at the Post Houston at Cars and Coffee. Like, y'all might have seen my videos before of the Coffee and Cars Houston events that I've gone to in Houston downtown, like downtown Houston. A long time ago, they apparently banned muscle cars at the event, and I was there when all of this happened. Apparently, they had people that were doing burnouts, doing donuts, and people were like acting a fool and stuff. And a lot of things just showed that they banned muscle cars. Apparently, they done banned Mustangs and Chargers and Camaros and Challengers, all because of the burnout activity that's been going on. And a lot of cops seen that in the act, and apparently a lot of people got really mad because apparently somebody in the Hellcat decided to do a donut, basically all because they was drawing so much attention for people who were actually seeing it. And I said to myself, yeah, like that's not good, man. That's just like Cars and Coffee Lafayette. I remember a long time ago, I wasn't there when all of this happened, but I heard somebody was doing a donut in the parking lot in a Mustang, and apparently this turns out where it was a red Mustang apparently, and they said it was an old guy like doing donuts and stuff. And a lot of people got really mad, and a lot of people were going to confront the guy about it and be like, hey man, look, if you're going to act a fool and act crazy and do stupid stuff, just know that, hey, we're not going to allow this. Because if you go out and act a fool and get these cops, you know, around where they draw so much attention, because a lot of times when people do stupid stuff at car meets, that's what really draw attention to those like cops and stuff. Like, it draws a lot of attention to the police nowadays who see stuff like that goes on. Like, that's just like caffeine and octane. Like, I done been to some car meets so many times that's been steady getting shut down, and it's been crazy, man. Like, everything that I have is just, it been caught on video many times, and I was like, man, like, you cannot make this up. Caffeine and Octane, which was another event I went to in Baton Rouge, that one got shut down last year in January because of too many burnouts. And then they had a Mustang did a donut apparently in the street. And I feel like 100% somebody definitely called the cops, and come to find out, next thing you know, they already had 2 or 3 cops that pulled up, and a cop was literally saying everybody need to leave the area and stuff. Then somebody did a poll apparently and decided to take one for the team, and that's when the cops went in that direction and started going after the person that was speeding. But apparently it was a good meet either way, but it's just the caffeine and octane came absolute chaos, and that's when everybody was saying, yo, y'all gotta chill. Like, if y'all keep doing what y'all doing, the meet go get shut down. So I was like, well, I've been there for Baton Rouge meets, I've been there for like any meet pretty much anywhere, but it's a reason why sometimes I oftentimes will stay back, because you don't know when somebody's gonna lose control of their car. Because a lot of people who lost control of their cars before, like I remember the Broussard meet, which was on that highway. That was my favorite one. I really liked that one too. But man, I just hate the fact that they had a Mustang that did crash for that one, and a lot of people who basically caught that on camera. I was like, man, like, I can't believe that happened, man. Normally it was a really packed out event for a lot of people. Like, they had some people from Baton Rouge I saw came out, some people from different cities like Opelousas and them places. mainly a lot of people from New Iberia came out, so I was definitely noticing everybody who came out for a meet like that. So I was like, man, look, I know the thing is like Broussard was like basically the best spot I remember they host the car meet at, and I was like, man, like I just can't believe that the second meet of this if this event just got so packed. Like as soon as I left the Mills Diner meet, I was gonna just chill, go home, probably just relax until the next meet starts for Broussard. And Broussard was packed out. I was like, man, like I can't believe Broussard is like so packed out with cars and everything. Because my thing about it though is I definitely would never consider myself thinking like how many people would ever like go out for a car event like this. Now, my thing about it though is the fact that I really love going out for car meets, and as much of a car enthusiast as I am, I'm always gonna be the type to do my thing, record and do whatever I do, man. Like apparently a lot of people I remember that used to watch like a lot of YouTubers back in the day, like that's just like some car meets I remember that got shut down in Texas too that I never went to. Like basically Town Lake Cars and Coffee, which was Cypress Cars and Coffee in Texas, and then they got the Coffee and Car Houston people who do like car meets with like hypercars and supercars and all that stuff. I do basically notice that back in the old days, 6 years ago, they had Coffee and Cars Houston in Memorial City. That one unfortunately got shut down because apparently somebody in the Infinity decided to do a donut, and they had all kind of muscle cars doing burnouts, and had a Corvette did a burnout too I saw, which was a red C7. A lot of chaos was over there happening. And I said to myself, man, like I never been to Memorial City Cars and Coffee. I wish I had a chance to go. But ever since then, they moved it to Post Houston. But apparently they done banned muscle cars over there many times apparently before. At first, they temporarily banned muscle cars. Then they gave them another chance in like 2024. But the next thing you know, come to find out, I just realized that they banned muscle cars permanently back in March. And apparently a lot of spectators decided to run in the street and act a fool and decided to just get every muscle car to do a burnout. But apparently what's so crazy is they brought the Mustangs and Camaros back in the day, but they never brought the Mopars back, because they know Mopars can basically be the problem. I mean, yeah, I drive a Mopar, but it's like I don't be going crazy in my car like that. I mean, the only thing I would do is like do my pole and go on about my business. But with people who do polls and then come back and try to do a burnout or some other stuff, that basically calls a lot of attention towards police, who would actually shut the meets down, or police would go out there and they'll start trying to catch whoever they could get. And it's crazy because I said to myself, man, like I know I haven't been to the Lafayette meets lately, and I've been getting people asking me like where have I been and all that stuff. Well, I've been in Houston a lot. I've been in Texas a lot lately for meets and stuff. Houston has always been a place that I've always been going out for car meets, because Houston is like where you always see the fastest and nicest cars. Like Houston mainly got everything. I mean, the only places I always wanted to go to check out cars is California, Dubai, Florida, like Orlando, Florida, Miami. Miami, Florida got some cars too. I done seen videos of like Miami, Florida, and like basically Orlando. Orlando got some stuff too. Like I've been hearing stuff about how they be drawing like Lamborghini Day Cars and Coffee in Florida. Honestly, man, I wish Louisiana was getting down like that. But it's like Louisiana got some stuff too. Now Lafayette, you will see some cars in Lafayette. Lafayette got some Lamborghinis and stuff, and some fast cars and everything out and about. And it's like I never really been the type to see how Lafayette really gets down with their car meets and stuff. But Lafayette got some cars too. It's just a lot of people who actually got fast cars. Some people out here just never really bring them out. And it's like I always ask myself, like, how come people got so many fast cars? But it's like people nowadays just don't bring them out. And it's like it's crazy because a long time ago when I came around, like driving around Lafayette, I've always seen like them fast cars out. Like sometimes I used to see like old school Ferraris driving around, and I even also seen like, it's so crazy because a long time ago somebody told me that they seen a Bugatti Chiron in Lafayette, in downtown Lafayette years back. And I was like, well, Lafayette got some fast stuff. So I was like, well, a lot of times, man, when you come in Lafayette nowadays, Lafayette always got like the fastest cars. And I always tell myself like, man, like I don't be believing too much about how Lafayette can always have cars, but like people always tell me like you'll be so amazed and surprised about what Lafayette really got, even though you wouldn't really see it. And a lot of people who may have fast cars, they just would never bring them out. And I feel like sometimes people would keep them cars locked in like maybe underneath the ground or something, or maybe they'll like keep them locked in the garage where nobody could see them. And I guarantee, if I had to really be honest, I'm pretty sure there's a 99.9% that we do have hybrid cars. I mean, yeah, we have the Lamborghini Revuelto, that black one that we always seen. And then they also had, you know, the Porsche Carrera GT. And then they also had some other fast cars I remember. They also had, like, a long time ago, I did hear that they used to always have, like, the fastest cars. Like, they had a yellow Ferrari 458 Speciality, whatever you call those. Yeah, they had a yellow Ferrari a long time ago. It was a 458 Altalia, I think it was. Either Altalia or it was a Speciale, a Perta. Yeah, it was a yellow Ferrari. And I remember I seen it off of the Facebook page. But a long time ago, they also had a McLaren Senna. They had a McLaren Senna in black and yellow in Lafayette. This was years ago. I mean, honestly, if I would have seen that car, man, I would have definitely pulled it up on the screen on here to show y'all. But yeah, they had a yellow McLaren that I remember that was actually around. It was a Senna, it was a hybrid car, and I was like, what the heck would a McLaren Senna be doing out here in Louisiana? Now, a lot of people will probably be telling themselves that that's the worst car you could ever drive in the state of Louisiana. And yeah, the roads in Louisiana are terrible out here because you got potholes and bumps and stuff. But when I used to look at Texas always had potholes and bumps and everything. So I was like, man, like I don't even understand how many bumps and potholes, because I done hit bumps and potholes in this Charger like so many times, and it's like I just cannot believe it. But yeah, honestly, it's crazy because Prestige Films got some cars too, I heard, because Prestige Films got like the McLaren, of course, that is literally in like that midnight purple. And then you also got some fast cars like the Countach, of course, like Regular Real Car Collection. Like Regular Real Car Collection it's a really nice collection, man. Like a Countach, I mean, it's so rare to really find a Countach. But it's like, apparently a lot of times, you know, when people have like a Countach, I mean, everybody would be like, you know, it's really hard to find a Lamborghini Countach anywhere. But they don't make them like they used to, man. Like, I know back in the early 90s, I know for sure enough, they probably had so many Countaches all in Houston. And I'm pretty sure they might have had a couple of them in Lafayette back in the day. But I guess now it's like, they don't really have them like they used to, you know. And apparently, I know I was driving that time. Let me see what Nick said right here. It says, meets in Lafayette hard, bro. People don't know how to act, and cops ain't playing. I'm working on something, you know, my meets be popping. Yeah, honestly, man, you're definitely right about that, you know. Because every time it be them night meets, of course, you're going to have them young guys come out. You're going to have somebody acting a fool doing something stupid. And next thing you know, come to find out, cops come and they shut that down completely. And they tell everybody need to leave. And then it's like, a lot of times, man, if you don't leave, they will obviously, you know, basically give you a ticket or a citation or a summon. And they'll basically, like, possibly try to arrest you for trespassing or whatever it is they feel like they couldn't do. Like, whatever it is. And then it's like, apparently it's like, yeah, people go out there and they do the most burnouts and the most like exclusive revving. I mean, honestly, man, I don't mind if it be one time revving, but like if you're revving way too much and then causing chaos, like, yeah, like that's just way too far, honestly. Like way too far to be going out there just doing all kind of crazy activities. That's why burnouts nowadays, you know, really be drawing a lot of attention. And then it's like, you know, that's just like Cars and Coffee. Cars and Coffee has always been going on for years. And it's like, yeah, because Cars and Coffee have a lot of old white guys, like a lot of old guys that come out to these events. And a lot of those old guys that come out to Cars and Coffee, they're not going to be coming around here doing burnouts and donuts and all that stuff. But it's all about me saying this. Honestly, it all depends on who the person really is. Like, now, Texas, honestly, people in Texas are crazy too. Like, people in Texas will burn rubber either way, man. You know, I done went to some night meets before where people been, you know, drawing a lot of attention to themselves by cutting up and revving and basically a lot of spectator people running and like running after a car doing a burnout. I mean, honestly, the only car I feel like I would run after that's revving is basically a Lambo, like a Lamborghini and stuff, like an Aventador SVJ or SV, or a Lamborghini Aventador LP 700-4, one of those type of cars. And honestly, I went to a Houston meet literally that one night, and that meet was so packed, and that's like, man, like they had Lambos revving. I mean, at the same time, Lafayette got Lambos too now. Because honestly, I feel like one day, someday, people who possibly would actually get fast cars, I feel like anybody who keep on putting work every day and keep doing what they doing and keep going, it's like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna realize that Texas is big city stuff out there. Like, yeah, Texas always have a lot of fast cars. Like, I've seen some crazy cars out there in Texas. Y'all might have seen my TikToks and my YouTube about every car that I've seen out there in Texas. Like, Texas has like the Lamborghini Centenario, the Mercedes AMG 1. They even have like the Pagani Zonda F, and they have the Paganis out there. They even have the Bugatti Chiron. The only Bugatti I've never got to see before is the Bugatti Veyron. I've never got to see a Veyron, but I've only seen Chirons, but never a Veyron. And I always used to ask myself, like, I never seen a Veyron. Like, that's crazy. Like, how come I seen like the new model Bugattis, but I never seen like the old version, like the Veyron? I mean, it's crazy because I feel like a lot of people who have Veyrons, you see, a lot of people just don't bring them out basically. But it's like, either way, a Bugatti is expensive either way, man. I mean, normally I would find out a Chiron is another car that I've always thought about seeing. But as far as looking at like a Veyron, I've never seen a Veyron. I feel like the places you'll probably ever get to see a Veyron is probably California, mainly California and Dubai. Dubai have Veyrons out there that I've seen at dealerships, all on videos and like all on YouTube and stuff I've been seeing. But mainly if you go to Florida, like Miami has the Veyrons. Like, you'll see the Veyrons like basically like somewhere like a dealership where they could be hidden somewhere or spooked somewhere. It all depends on wherever you go, like whatever dealership you really go. Because like, I never been the type to like really like travel like miles and miles to go look at cars or look at a hybrid car. Like, me personally, I always see hypercars every day, man, but I want to get my own hypercar that no one doesn't have at all nowhere in the state. Like, honestly, if I was to get a hypercar one day for real, I would get the W Motors Lycan Hypersport. The Lycan Hypersport is the car from the Fast and Furious 7 movie. Y'all might remember that car that jumped out the building, like, basically in Fast and Furious when Paul Walker said Dom cars don't fly and all that stuff. But my thing about it though is that I really love like the Lycan. Like, the Lycan is like my favorite hypercar that I would ever get. But the crazy part about them is that there's only 7 of these cars made in the world. I mean, only 7 of these made. Like, you ain't never gonna find a car anywhere else like that that's only 7 made. I mean, you'll normally see them in Dubai, because in Dubai they be spooked in like, I don't know exactly what area in Dubai they're in, but if I was in Dubai right now, I would definitely be on the lookout to go look for one and see one, get a good picture of it. Because one day I know I would ever plan to tell myself I would really want a hybrid car like this. Like, a Lycan Hypersport is something that I would never, ever in my life would ever, like, never forget of thinking about. Because it's like, man, like, I really love the Lycan. Because, like, the Lycan is, like, my favorite hypercar. And it's like, ever since I started noticing about the Lycan, I said to myself, dang, man, like, I really want to get one someday, man. But only 7 of these made. Normally, any car that's like a 7 made car, or like any car that's a one of one, is extremely rare. And y'all know that's $1 million of cars right there. So like, you're never really gonna see like people who would actually own a car like that. But like, it's way in Dubai, man. Like, if I was for real enough, man, it's like, me personally, I would basically fly out there in a plane to go try to get it, and then basically look at it in person to see if I really want the car. Because a lot of times it's like, some of those hypercars, they be really hard to fix sometimes. Like, sometimes you might get a used hypercar, and that car right there could probably break down on you. The next thing you know, when you buy it, it's like, yeah, it might run good for the first time, but then the next day car breaks down. It's some things that I kind of seen people who actually get hypercars, because everybody always say that a Bugatti is a reliable hypercar that you could actually fix. But as far as like the motor cars, like the Koenigsegg and some other hybrid cars. I mean, honestly, I love hybrid cars. Like, yeah, they powerful and they are fun. They do look fun to drive, even though I've never got hands in a hybrid car. But they are fun, like, to actually like drive. I've seen videos of how fast hybrid cars can go. If I was to have a hybrid car, I would definitely be enjoying it and having fun with that. But it's like, I don't know. It's like my thing about having a hybrid car is like, it's crazy because I would be low-key scared to even get on it because of the horsepower and the top speed of them cars. Like, you got hybrid cars that be going like at least like 200 or 300 miles per hour, and a lot of times them cars be so light where it's like sometimes you got to really know how to handle the power of a vehicle. Like, honestly, like, I always stick with the Charger, honestly, because me personally, a lot of people always ask me like why I didn't get a Scat Pack or a Hellcat instead. Honestly, unfortunately, y'all, to be honest with y'all been hearing a lot about how Scat Packs and Hellcats get stolen so fast and they get stolen quick, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna get one of them cars because if I don't have a garage or anything, I wouldn't risk my life getting a Hellcat, because next thing you know, you gonna wake up the next morning, you go outside, it's not even there no more. And that's the crazy part. And a lot of times people will leave keys in the vehicle, and I always be telling myself, like, never leave your vehicle, like, never leave your keys in a vehicle, because the minute you leave your keys in a vehicle, somebody go steal that. They go take that. Like, they're gonna easily take that. And my thing about having a car like this at a young age, which is the Hemi Charger, the 5.7 liter V8, is I was 18 years old with this thing. You know, it's crazy because right now I'm looking at myself to see myself, like, the very first car I had was a Mercedes. And then it's like, my thing about having some cars like that is the fact that, you know, some people just never even thought that I would actually be the type to travel to different cities and maybe different states to like go out for a car meeting just to kind of film exactly what they have for everybody who support my videos. But like, honestly though, if I was to be the first one to have a hybrid car, I wouldn't get on it the first day I actually buy it. But I know one thing for sure enough, once I get used to driving it and I get to the hang of it, like once I get the hang of it on a hybrid car, then that's when I'm gonna definitely like get on it and do what I do. Because them hybrid cars, they powerful, man. It's like they so powerful where I was like, man, like if I can actually get hands on a car like that, that would be like something that I could do basically on my own. But it's like I never really been the type to like get hands on a car that is like this powerful. And it's crazy because everybody who has a hybrid car wouldn't even realize that somebody would even be driving one. But it's crazy. Yeah, honestly, when I started basically like driving this Charger, yeah, I was low-key scared to get on it because I always heard people always telling me that 5.7 Chargers, they can be very strong for the car and everything. But the thing about it though is like my 5.7 Charger is fast, by the way. Like, I definitely be like pushing that car and I be enjoying that car. Normally, I've never been the type to speed in it that much, but the only time I normally would get on it is normally on the highway, because on the highway, you have a lot of space, but every now and then it's just, I be cruising on the highway, heading wherever I'm going to, like a car meet and stuff. So it's like, man, like, I don't know how many people would ever think that owning a hybrid car would always be a thing, because, yeah, like, honestly, I would definitely love to own a hybrid car someday, one day, but at the same time, I know it's going to be hard to find any hybrid car that's actually for sale. But there's like 6 hybrid cars that I really want one day. Like, my hybrid car collection I want one day is the Lykan Hybrid Sport, the Pagani Zonda F, the Apollo IE, the Lamborghini Elemental. Y'all might know what that car is. That's the car from Need for Speed. And the Koenigsegg Jesko, and then the Zenvo ST1, and then the new Zenvo they had came out with, the one that have like the massive wing. Yeah, honestly, I would have 2 Zenvos, and then I would have a Lamborghini Elemental. It's crazy because I don't know if y'all guys ever noticed this, but did y'all know that somebody had made a Lamborghini Elemental road legal? Yes, somebody actually made a Lamborghini Elemental road legal. Apparently, they always say that Lamborghini Elementals are not street legal, like road legal for like public roads, but somebody actually made a road legal Lamborghini Elemental, and I was like, how did they even do this? And that car right there was actually worth $10 million of a Lamborghini Elemental. And it's crazy because I always used to hear the prices about Lamborghini Elementals where they'll start the price range at like 2 million or maybe 2.1 million or something like that. But 10 million for a Lamborghini Elemental is like crazy. And it's like, man, like no way somebody would spend that much on a $10 million Lamborghini Elemental. Now, the Lamborghini Elemental is like my favorite Lamborghini that I would actually drive. But honestly, if I was to own a Lamborghini Elemental and make it road legal, I mean, honestly, I would definitely take it out to countries by putting it in a trailer. I don't know anybody too much that actually has a trailer, but if I was to like post on like the Instagram or like the Snapchat and be like, does anybody got a trailer that I can borrow for the hypercars and stuff? Because I don't want to drive my cars out in another state, including that it got bumps and potholes, and then I mess that car up. It's just not something that I would be capable of going for, especially for a car like that. But my thing about getting a hypercar is the fact that people who own hypercars definitely would normally come out whenever they feel like it's a really like chill solid event. Hold on, my phone, of course. Hold up, let me put the AC on. It's getting a little hot. Don't want my phone to overheat up in here. It always overheats some kind of way, bad as ever. But yeah, honestly though, y'all, it's like one day I'm gonna find a way to afford a hybrid car for real. But for cars like that I really want, that's like over 100 million of hybrid cars, honestly. Like, it's crazy because I never really been the type to like actually like sit in a hybrid car, like really see how it feels. I've only got to see them in person, man. But honestly, it's like if I was to ever own a hypercar, man, I would probably be the first one to like always get on it at a car meet. And like a lot of people probably would look at that and be like, yeah, this man right there is a brave soul, because a lot of hypercar owners, they never really get on their $1 million cars like that. And then sometimes you got people that be up in here talking about, man, like what's the point of owning a hypercar if you're not doing anything with it, like speeding off or like having fun with it or enjoying it. Some people would just leave out a car meet and just cruise like regular traffic sometime, and that's how mostly how some guys really are nowadays. And it's like normally when I'm thinking about having a hybrid car, I would be the first one to get on it. Like honestly, I probably would be scared the first time getting on it because I know the power and the speed, but I'm always gonna be aware of the horsepower or how fast these cars really are. Some people wouldn't even believe that owning a hypercar is always impossible, but that's like the Stradman. The Stradman, he ended up owning his first hypercar. Well, first he had a Bugatti Veyron, I remembered. Then he ended up buying his dream car, which was the Koenigsegg Agera HH. Now, the Koenigsegg was like basically a sweet car that I remember I've seen off of his YouTube channel when he had it wrapped in pink. Now, he obviously did talk about the payments on Koenigsegg's, and Koenigsegg's are like, the payments on them cars is extremely insane. Like, I know a lot of y'all would probably be like, yeah, I would never spend that much money on a car and pay so much of a payment for a car that is this much for payment for a hypercar. Like, yeah, because one thing about the Koenigsegg's is I know the Stradman was like saying stuff about how the Koenigsegg is like, basically it's a 35,000 monthly payment for a car like that. Like the payment for the Koenigsegg is 35,000 a month. And I was like, man, like that's so much for a Koenigsegg. Like honestly, man, when you have $1 million car, man, you know that car note is gonna be insanely and crazy ridiculously high. I'm gonna tell y'all that right now. It's gonna be insanely ridiculously high because that's just like the oil change in Koenigsegg. I started looking up things about how much it would cost for oil change for Koenigsegg, and I looked for the price on Safari, and I saw that it would cost like $8,000 for an oil change for a Koenigsegg, and I'm like, God dang, for a Koenigsegg for an oil change, like 8,000 for an oil change for a hypercar. I know a lot of people always say that they don't really like mess with hypercars like that, or why they wouldn't own one, because it's like, yeah, they powerful and they strong and they like them, but it's just, people always used to tell me, yeah, honestly, I like the hypercars, they powerful and they fun to drive, and I like how they actually made these cars, but it's just owning it, I just would never see myself owning it because they'd be so expensive and insanely high, and I'd be like, yeah, it'd be like that. Honestly, me personally, man, the thing about hypercars, man, it's like it would be crazy because I feel like the only hypercars that I would ever look forward of getting to would most definitely be the Lycan, which is only 7 of these made. Because I know if somebody was to drive a 7 made car in Louisiana, that would be insane. I mean, a lot of people would be like, no way they got somebody driving that in Louisiana. And like, I would have been like, yeah, like, honestly, if I was to drive a Lycan Hybrid Sport in the area that I'm in, or like in my own hometown, everybody gonna know it's me because I steady be posting that on my Instagram and on my stories that I always tell myself I wanted. And it's like, I can only imagine seeing my bros, all my brothers have hybrid cars or supercars, but apparently my brother's not really into hybrid cars that much like I am. I mean, honestly, they might be into supercars like a Lamborghini or like a Ferrari or like a McLaren 720S and stuff. I mean, but I'd be seeing that everywhere, man. I mean, honestly, a McLaren and stuff is cool and all, but I feel like the McLaren that I know I like the most is the McLaren P1 and the McLaren Senna. And then you also have like some other McLarens out in the wild somewhere. Like mainly you see all of that in Houston. Like they got so many dealerships of supercars in Houston. Like you got the Lamborghini dealership, you got the Porsche dealership, you even got the Maserati dealership, you even have like the Ferraris of dealerships too. Like honestly, I've been hearing that they actually have more than one dealership, like more than one Porsche dealership in Houston. And I was like, well, I wonder how many dealerships they got in Houston of Porsches, you know. Honestly, I've been always telling myself like one day, someday I'm gonna find a way to afford a supercar and a hypercar. I feel like if I was to get another hypercar, I feel like the next hypercar would be the Lamborghini Revuelto in pink. I'll probably get a Lamborghini Revuelto in pink and put a Gitani exhaust in it. And apparently, in case people don't know, the power of the Lamborghinis, all these Lamborghini Revueltos are pushing 1,000 horsepower. Um, every hypercar that I've looked at is pushing 1,000 horsepower. Like the Lamborghini Elemental, it's not pushing 1,000 horsepower, but I heard Lamborghini Elementals are pushing between the 500s, and the Lycan Hybrid Sport is pushing like in the 700s, and then the Koenigsegg is pushing in the thousands, and then you got the Zenvo. The Zenvos are pushing in the thousands too. Um, where to see it at? Unfortunately, for those that don't know, I haven't told nobody this. I do not have the C8 no more, in case y'all guys did not know. Apparently the C8, is gone. Unfortunately, I had that car for 2 years, but apparently I just ended up telling myself that I'm not gonna end up having that car no more, because apparently there's too many C8s, and apparently I'm trying to get something that I've been always wanted to have before. Like honestly, I'm trying to get a car that no one doesn't have. Now, a lot of people don't know I ended up getting rid of the Vet, but I still have the Charger because I also told myself I was going to wrap my Charger in a different color, because a lot of people been asking, like, did I take the stripe off of my Charger? And I was like, well, I did take the stripe off of my Charger, because back in the day I had a blue stripe, and now I don't have the stripe no more on the Charger. I've been took it off since August of 2025, and a lot of people was like, dang, like that was like the hardest wrap you had on that Charger. Like, why did you get rid of the stripe off the Charger? Honestly, it's a long story, y'all. Apparently, I've been having that stripe on ever since I first got the car in 2022, but I wrapped it in November, so I was like, well, I don't have that car no more. Well, I don't have the stripe on there no more. It's kind of crazy because like I definitely would never redeem myself, like thinking to myself like, yeah, a stripe on my Charger always hit different, because not everybody I've seen had like a silver and blue stripe car like mine. But now I feel like it's time for me to change something different, because like honestly I want something different. Like I ain't trying to like have like a color like than everybody else got. Like everybody got red and everybody got like this color and that color. Like me personally, I want a different color for my car that nobody doesn't have in Lafayette or anywhere, like any state, than what anyone got. Now Texas, I mean, you see different colors anywhere, but like my thing about Texas is that, yeah, like Texas, I always told myself if I wanted to go to Texas for car meets again, I know last year I haven't been going out to Texas meets at all last year since that February, but then I started going back to Texas for a car meet back in September of 2025. But it's crazy because sometimes it'd be so hard for me to find car meets in Texas every now and then, but the only time I feel like I could ever find them is if I start following people who host meets, and most of the time I look on Facebook to see if there's anything out there. Now honestly, There's one of my dream cars that I've always wanted to see. Um, Let me see what this is. How come you didn't pop out with the Seat in Lafayette? Honestly, I used to pop out in the vet, basically at Cars and Coffee Lafayette. I mean, I've also popped out to certain car meets before. Like I popped out in the politics meets with the car like that, and then I also popped out in at the Pep Boy meets and the Mills Diner meets. But I've always pulled up, like always popped out at Cars and Coffee Lafayette. Like Cars and Coffee Lafayette always been like the spot that I've always popped out at in the C8. And I was like, dang, like, yeah, honestly, I always popped out at Cars and Coffee because I never really, like, back in the day when I first started driving the vet, it's like I started driving that car basically to like Lafayette Cars and Coffee mainly because everybody bring their C8 out for that. But then I used to get people asking me, like, what happened to the charger I had? And I told people I still got the charger. A lot of people really didn't believe that I possibly did not have the charger, or they think I still didn't have the charger, because ever since they see me popped out in that red vet, people started talking about, man, like, what happened to his charger? Did he get rid of the charger or something? And I was like, no, the charger's at home. I did not get rid of it. And then I made a post about it, like, basically 2 years ago, telling people, for those that kept asking about the charger, I still got it. I mean, honestly, the charger is a daily, because I daily drive the charger than the vet, honestly, because basically it's like I usually drive this charger everywhere I go. Like, ever since I've been driving this charger, I've been always taking care of it and everything. Even though it's a used car that I got 3 years ago, back in 2022. And I was like, man, like, having a car like this at 18 years old and then having ownership of this car for 3 years now is like crazy. And it's like, man, like, my thing about it though is like I always love Mopar, but it's like Mopar has always had my heart, because everybody always like really always be saying, yeah, like Mopars, they always like send it the best and stuff, and the Mopars always be leaving the car meets and always sending it and everything. I mean, Mopars, you'll see that always occasionally every time you go to a car meet. Every time you see a Mopar, you know a Mopar is gonna always send it. I mean, they always get on it, leaving the meet every time. I mean, because that's the only thing about people who may show love to Mopars. But everybody always say that Mopars nowadays be so overrated, or like some people wouldn't even like say, like, every time somebody see a Mopar, you just see that all the time everywhere. Like, basically that's like the night meets. Like, you'll see Mopars at night meets mainly because that's where all the Mopar boys normally be at. Like, you would see like all the Scat Packs and Hellcats that would pop out at a car meet. Like, that's the thing. Like, when I went to a meet in Houston that night, that Saturday night, there were so many muscle cars. They had Corvettes, Camaros, Mustangs, a whole bunch of Mopars, and then they had a lot of C6s and everything, and then they had a couple Lambos and stuff. Crazy part is, a lot of people who have supercars and hypercars, they never really oftentimes will come out for night meets. But I feel like it would all depend on what the meet really is about. Like, normally I'd be hearing a lot of events like the Houston Whips guys, they be hosting their car meets at night. And then you also got, you know, some other car guys like, you know, that be hosting meets, like the boy Travis, of course, that I'll remember going to his meets at. He's another guy that I remember that always used to go out for a car meet left and right. And then he started hosting meets on his own. I mean, I've been going out to his meets and stuff, and then they've been hosting like exotic meets. But there's a lot of car meets I went to in Texas before. I've been to Cypress Cars and Coffee. I've been to Houston Cars and Coffee. I've been at Postal Cars and Coffee as well. And then I've also been to the Car Culture. I've been to some other car meets too at night. I've been to Houston Whips, and I've been to Travis meets, and then I've been to some other night car meets before too. I know Cars Across Texas, he's been hosting meets too, honestly. But yeah, I'm gonna end the live here, honestly, call it a day. I'll definitely start going live more and start taking everything that I need better by just trying to gain more people to like check me out and all that stuff, because I got some videos on here. All the videos I have posted on YouTube. There's supposed to be some car meets this week. I heard they got Lafayette's Cars and Coffee, but they also got a car meet in Texas, I heard, which was the Woodlands. Mustangs, if I like the Mustangs, yeah. Honestly, the crazy part about Mustangs is that the Mustangs, they be loud as heck for some reason. I be hearing a lot of times, I see people always tell me the only reason why Mustangs be loud is because they got that Coyote engine under there, And then majority of the time you got them Shelby GT500s. Now them new Shelby GT500s are the cars that you don't want to mess with. Because I done seen some Shelby GT500s in Texas, and boy, I tell you, I done seen B-locks and slicks and a parachute in one of those, and I told myself, oh no, you ain't gonna see me messing with one of them cars. I mean, honestly, man, Mustangs, they are loud as heck, man. And I always used to ask myself, like, why are Mustangs so loud? But people always tell me it's always that Coyote engine. When you hear that Coyote screaming, that's the only reason why them things be loud. And a lot of times, if you put some long tube headers with like a Corsa exhaust or anything like that, that's what makes them louder too. Because a lot of people put so much money on those cars, and it's like, I feel like with a Mustang, like a 5.0 or like a GT350 or a GT500, like you could just put anything on a 5.0. Like you could put anything on the Coyote engine of a car, honestly, on a Mustang. And I guess that's probably the reason why them cars be so loud. And then with the engine work, you can put like a blower or like a whipper under there. Now the thing about Lafayette is Lafayette got some Whipple Mustangs out here, a lot of Whipples that I've been seeing, Whipple superchargers and Cam Mustangs and stuff. And it's kind of crazy because, like, I never really thought that Mustangs would ever be this loud. But yeah, I started to really like Mustangs because they always sound good. They always loud and everything. And it's crazy because when a Mustang comes to a car meet, it's like, man, like you will hear like a little blow off or like a little wash. Like you hear something like basically like something you would hear like a blow off on a car, and you wouldn't even realize what it is until you see it. They always say you hear it before you see it, honestly. And it's crazy because normally when I hear something that's like whooshing or something, that's how I know something is under there. You know, they had a guy that I was talking to at a car meet at BJ's Pizza in Lafayette. He had a Whipple Mustang, a Whipple supercharger Mustang, and he told me the Mustang is pushing 900 horsepower. And I was like, man, like 900 horsepower for a Mustang is crazy. Like, no way in hell somebody would have a 900 horsepower Mustang like this at a car meet. But if I had a car like that was pushing 900 horsepower for real, only thing I would do is basically get those B-locks. I would get B-locks every time, everywhere I go. But the thing is, man, it's like I also have to be aware of the cold tires on the road, because a lot of times those cars, they be spinning out so much, and a lot of times these cars never would want to hook. And I'd be like, man, look, Mustangs has always caught a lot of attention to me. Every time I used to always see them like send it and get on it, because I know a lot of people who own Mustangs out here. Like I talked to some people who actually have like the fastest, loudest Mustangs. Like the thing about Lafayette got so many Mustangs, and I be seeing them everywhere. Like I know so many people who have Mustangs, and I'd be like, man, like they got so many Mustangs around. But Louisiana is actually meant for classics and muscle cars and stuff. Like you normally see a lot of muscle cars in Louisiana because Louisiana is like the South. So in the South, you're gonna most definitely see classics and muscle cars and stuff like that. Now supercars, you'll see supercars too, but not like Texas, man. Texas got some cars out there now. Like Texas got some supercars and everything. Never been the type to really see Texas have that many supercars and hypercars until I was like, man, like I can't believe that Texas got so many hypercars and everything. But yeah, I'm gonna end the live right here, y'all. I'm gonna start going live even more, just to try to get people to like really join the live and check me out on here. We'll start talking about some stuff as well, see what anybody else would have to say. Honestly, you know, if y'all want to follow my Instagram or whatever, my Instagram is just.jay21X on Instagram. And if y'all got any questions, y'all be free to ask me anything. So I'll go ahead and end the live. I hope y'all guys have a great night. Y'all be safe and be warm in that house. It's very cold outside, knowing that my foolishness just decided to not even bring a jacket, and I just made the dumbest decision for not bringing a jacket with me, because I never checked the weather to see how cold it was, because it was so hot earlier, and now all of a sudden it gets so cold like hell, and it's like, man, I know you lying. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and the live. I'll see y'all guys sometime whenever I go live again, or I'll keep everybody updated. Y'all have a good night. Peace out.